I was thinking.
And we are live. Welcoming everybody, Heat Ratio Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Cotillo, joined by Andre Johnson, Al Griffin, the Heat Ratio crew, the NBA crew, and we've been waiting for weeks talking about this show. I was so pumped up today and excited. What's up, fellas? How you doing? Al, what's going on, buddy?
I'm good. I'm ready.
Al got the Birdman, got the
LeBron in the background. What's up, Andre? Who you got hanging up there in the background? Let everybody know what that's going on.
Come on, man. That's Irvin Magic Johnson. The second coming is here in Philly, so you got to rep him.
Love it, man.
I love that.
Listen, man, I'm not going to hate on LeBron behind you, Al, yet. Okay, I'm going to try
my favorite player right there.
I'm just going to try to keep it all in. I am.
But you see who's next to him, though.
That's the main thing. Exactly. Listen, my three favorite are right behind me, so I can't. LeBron's not up there. I don't know if I'll ever make that wall, but that's okay. Just call it like it is. But fellas, listen, we had one of the most historical off seasons in a long time. And I've talked about this, you guys talked about it. And in order for everybody to get back on track with this team, it had to be an historical off season. Yeah, so many things had to come to play. And the first thing we have to talk about is Doc Rivers. And I don't think I've been this excited over a coach in a long time, only because of how well he's respected in the league. I mean, we're all around the same ages. We're middle-aged guys and growing up watching him with the Hawks, and the playing the style of play he did. He was gritty, he was smart, he was knowledgeable, and he brings that to the court, which is great. So first thing I want to ask you guys, huge difference, right? Huge difference from Brett Brown to Doc Rivers, right? Huge difference. So Andre, I'll start right with you. What do you expect differently now that Brett is out of here? What do you expect to happen that didn't happen before?
Well, the first thing I expect is that Brett is I'm not going to talk about Brett. We can talk about the past, so we can talk together. Don't get me wrong, respect to Brett. But the first thing that's going to stick out, that clearly sticks out in my mind, is the locker room itself. The locker room itself. Now, because we can talk technical as far as practice and being on time and all things, but Doc is a locker room controller. And he's more, Brett was more like a talker, philosophy type of guy. But Doc was like, the way Doc control, and it's funny because I've seen this back in 2008 what he did with the Celtics. Like the way he just controlled everything about the locker room. So it's almost as if you were the jerk if you didn't show up for practice. You were like, or you didn't work out, or you didn't get in good conditioning for the season. Doc makes you do that. And that's what a real leader does. So the difference between Doc and Brett, in my personal opinion, I think Doc is just a guy that people are going to listen to and gravitate to. And there's not going to even be a question. Brett was more, I'll show up 5 minutes late and nothing's going to happen to me. Listen, it wasn't because of his coaching style. It's because he was, I think, too cool with the players.
Yes.
I think he was a little too cool. And sometimes you gotta make sure that that's a difference and just being either strict or, listen, this is the time you're going to be here. I want you here. If not, you're going to sit.
Yeah, I agree. Al, I know you agree with that. We talked
Yeah,
about that plenty
absolutely.
of times. You got to be a leader, right?
Yeah.
You can't be everybody's boy all the time.
No, I know he was cool with Ben way back in the day and all of that, but that doesn't help us get to the next level where we need to get to. A1 is respect. Everybody on the whole team, organization, fans, everybody respects Doc. So right off the bat, boom, you got respect factor. And so when he tells you something or he points something out, oh, that's Doc telling me that. That's just maybe Brent might be like, does he really know what he's saying? Or you start questioning it, something about it. Maybe you say, Doc, you be like, oh, okay. Then you got his coaching staff, that's everybody backing everything that he's saying up and going extra mile for everything else. It's just a whole different atmosphere. I mean, when he came available, my eyes was like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean he's available?
Yep.
If you don't, oh my God. First of all, can you imagine what would have happened if we didn't get him? Oh my goodness!
Let's not talk. Let's not. Yeah, we be talking about Mike D'Antoni right now. Okay?
Yeah,
right.
We talked about that.
That could not have happened. Yes, Andre. That's sweat off your forehead.
Yeah, because
I had that would have. If it was -0 interest, that's what I would put it in. What did you about to say, Andre?
No, I was just saying, as far as the thing about Brett is like, I think even the fan base got a little sick of that New England twang. Like we're not Boston guys. Like this is Philly. Okay?
Yes.
And there's a certain culture, a certain winning, and here's where I think the other difference is. Brett came from San Antonio.
Yes.
Okay. So he came into a team that didn't have a dominant player on the floor. And we saw how this works out even in Cleveland with LeBron. I don't think Ty Lue, in my personal opinion, was that great of a coach, but you had LeBron.
Right.
You know,
right.
So in San Antonio, you had Pop. You had a dominant personality in the organization. There was no dominant personality with Brett. Right. There was no dominant personality either on the floor or even like not on the floor and not on the bench. You had to have at least one or the two, because I think we would have got the same exact thing with Dan Antonio. It would have just been Brett 2.0, and that's not what the city needed. The city got exactly what they needed.
Hashtag train wreck.
Yeah,
that's what it would have been.
I'm with you, man. You are 100%. Listen, Brett was great to get us, out of the tanking area, to pump that energy in the young guys, and then there was a point, and I still think we were 2 years too late. But there was a point where it's running stale now, it's running dry, and Andre, Al, you said the same thing about respect, and yes, when you look down at the end of the bench and you see that coach saying out there, a guy who played on the court, a guy who's played with legends and coached superstars, you have no reason not to respect the guy. Right. And that was the biggest thing, in my opinion. I agree with Brett. That's what they were looking at. They were like, wait a minute, where did you play? What did you like? What did you? I mean, I would do it. I do it. Listen, I talked about with Doug Peterson. Like, what did you do? Who were you? Like, I mean, you didn't have this. I mean, I hate to say it's the truth, though, right? Yeah. So now this was like answer to our prayers, man. Just coming down. I am so glad that Doc Rivers is here.
But on the other hand, he has to get it done.
Yeah.
So, everybody wanted him. Yes. They got the respect, and we still got to get it done, because he didn't get it done in LA.
I know.
So, I mean, yes, everybody want him, but he absolutely, I want to hear that we never made the finals with him. I never want to hear that.
I'm with you.
It's unexcusable for him not to make it.
I don't think we're going to hear that. I think we're still about a year away as far as the finals. As far as the finals is concerned, but we're not going to hear that in his tenure.
Okay,
not in his tenure. When I look at the makeup of this team, because when I look at the makeup of this team, is eerily familiar, with the exception of Embiid, but it's eerily familiar with the makeup of the '08 Boston team. And I think Doc has been trying to get back to that. Think about when you win a championship, all you want to do is win another one.
Right.
You don't you
chase it for the rest of your career. Right.
So when he didn't get it done in LA, like you said, Al, when he didn't get it done, that's haunting him right now. Like, that's haunting him as a coach. Now, he may not ever admit it on television or in interviews or press conferences, but I got to tell you this. When you win a championship, you want to win another one, because that's the pinnacle of that's why you're here, right?
Right. Only reason.
And I'm going to tell you, and here's the other thing. When you're in a two-team town like LA, you kind of don't listen. Other than other networks going to beat you down, you're not going to get the pressure.
Right.
You're not going to get as much. But now he's in a situation where he can deliver. He has the freedom to deliver. He has some of the players trying to control those teams. Think about it. They had Paul George, and we know who they had.
Oh, my goodness. Did you see him get paid today?
Ooh, $226 million.
Hey, listen.
Wow.
Why would he ever turn that money down? You think about it, you're not turning that down. No. You think, how fast can I run to the office to sign?
Did you see how much was guaranteed?
Yes.
That's the part. See, that's the part right there. I always look at.
My goodness.
I hate to oust myself like this, but probably about 2-3 years ago, I said to trade Ben Simmons for Paul George. So, that was when we first drafted him. And I was like, listen,
we'll get to the Ben Simmons talk later.
Right? Yeah, I know. I ask myself, man. Like, I know I'm crazy sometimes, but I want to win now. I don't want to wait. Like Andre, you say a year, right? We're a year away. Okay, well, how much longer do we have? Like, that's my thing. Like, we have a window, in my opinion, with Joel Embiid. We have a window. He's not going to last forever. Right?
Patience, my good brother.
I can't, man. I can't.
Listen,
I can't. I'm dying.
And the only reason, and just so we're clear, the only reason why I say a year is because, as much as I'm a diehard Sixer fan, we got to get through. We still got to prove and get through those two bullies, one in Brooklyn and one in Milwaukee. We got to
learn to play together too.
We got to get through those guys. And here's barring, and God forbid anybody obviously in the NBA gets injured or what have you. But here's where I don't think Brooklyn is going to be as much as a threat to us as Milwaukee is, because, like you said, Al, Brooklyn still got to play together.
Yeah.
Like, they still got to learn how to play together. Neither one of those guys have been on the court, like, playing together for Lord knows how long. We know that any given moment, we've seen players come back after an Achilles injury. It was never that.
It's good. Not easy.
It's not easy. Yeah. And KD is as lethal as he is.
Is he?
And how crazy Kyrie could be with the handles on the court.
Well,
and
that is the least. That's the only problem with that. That's the least of my worries is Kyrie. I'm as good of a player as he is, and he is that good. I'm not worrying about him. KD dropped 40 on you every night and not even blink his eyes.
In the first quarter.
If he's KD.
In the first quarter. But that's the only reason why I say 1 year. That's the only reason. That's it. Anything else, because, and here's what's weird about it. I would if we do get to the finals this year, I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised either way. And it would be solely on our defense.
Well,
and I'm on that.
And Doc's alluded to that. He wants us to be a defensive team, right? He wants it to be, and again, that's how you win championships. You learn, you learn how to play defense, and that's why,
as old school as that sounds, that's the way you win.
Exactly.
And believe it or not, the Lakers won from defense. They played great defense. And
in the playoffs,
the basketball people don't all know that, though. They don't think about that the Lakers won. They think about you think about what is his name on the other side? The center. I don't know why I'm brain freeze right now. LeBron. Yeah, AD and LeBron. And you think, oh, my goodness, they scoring 60, 70 points a game. And that's how they went. No. AD's blocking shots. Our center, backup center now, blocking shots. Everybody was doing their thing, rotating perfectly, those type of things. Those things win, not just offense. This is basketball. You have to play defense to be able to win. You can't just let the other team just score.
Exactly. And listen, a lot of people didn't give Frank Vogel any credit.
Nah.
And I mean, that deserves to be mentioned. I mean, absolutely. He really held that team together, and his rotations were solid. The entire NBA bubble, man. So you're absolutely right.
He was a defensive coach even in Indiana, though.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, you're right. You're right. Cliff Texas says Paul George was overpaid.
Well, everybody knows that.
Love that jersey, Al. And then, man, look, already, Al, you got to talk to my man Mike here. Says Tony, show Al how to frame a jersey, bro.
Well. Mine's not
crazy. Hey, don't come at me. Don't come at me. I have to take them to get them professionally done. I did those on my own.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Luckily, I just gave them to the wife, and she hooked me up. So,
there you go.
You know what I mean? I bought the frame. I said, hey, can you pin these things in? I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, thank God.
Nice little makeshift. I actually have a couple more that I can't get in the frames.
I got in the wall space, man. I got some more. I don't know where to put them.
I put legends up. Like I got a Shady that I need to put up. I got a Westbrook I need to put up, another LeBron in another jersey that you probably won't like. I got another. Not a Lakers though. I would never put a Lakers up there.
I had to put Kobe up there, man. So
legend. You gotta have.
Of course. Who's going to say anything about Kobe?
Well, you never know. You know what I mean? People be hating on Kobe too. It's ridiculous. Mike says sometimes some people are assistants, some are leaders. Brett is an assistant type. I think we definitely 100%. Know that. Our man John checking in. Brown is JV coach, not varsity. I think that's a very good comparison right there. Mike says everything about last year I throw out the window. Such a weird year and situation. I'll tell you, man. I don't know about you guys, but I was loving the NBA bubble. I thought there was a different intensity about it. There was a different energy. I mean, I felt like I was watching March Madness in the NBA.
It was a good watch. Yeah, it was a good watch. It was intense games, couple scruffles in there. It was pretty nice. I was satisfied with the basketball that was in the bubble.
Yeah, me too, man.
A lot of it was attitude with the players too. The attitude, like they figured, hey, listen, the season is shortened. We got an opportunity to knock off some.
We're here.
Guys, obviously, we're here. That's right. Like let's just be honest. Before the bubble, was Murray like the spotlight of the NBA?
No.
Like he just came out of you know what he reminded me of when it was Vinsanity. Remember
yes.
He had that glow up on him really quick with the Knicks. And it's like, whoa, look at this guy. I thought
that kid was good, but
I know
that kid showed me a lot in these playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Nobody talk about Denver either, man. Denver, wow. Denver's a problem.
They're a problem, but here's the thing: they're going to keep running into that brick wall called LeBron, out in the West Coast. Denver,
they have no solution for them.
Denver and the East Coast, man, it would be must-watch TV, right? It'd be must-watch TV. Denver and the West Coast, man, they got to go up against and get through all these people just to see the Lakers. It's like, oh man, we're beat down at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Rick says most important job is to have Simmons and Embiid play like all-stars together on the court. I think the roster is better this year for that, but I think we are maybe 1 year, maybe two. Build the team to right around them. P.S. LeBron at best third all time. He had third in there.
We'll get to that later too. Stop it.
I know about that.
Come on, stop it.
Listen.
Come on, Rick. Stop it.
It's a good question, and I'm going to listen because you guys know how I've been about Ben. We've talked about Harden, and I get it. I know patience. I get it. But
hold on. One quick second. Yeah. Nobody's going to take 2 years. We're going to have to be 1 year. 2 years, the city will go crazy. It has to be 1 year. You get 1 year to get it together, but 2 years, people go crazy. Then they'll Oh, the whole city will be ready to blow the center up and everybody else. Go ahead.
Exactly.
It'd be a whole other bank name.
Yes. You're right.
It's not going to be Core States, Wachovia, Wells Fargo. It's probably going to be PNC. I don't know. But
they can't take two. Only one, and that's it. Yeah, and I would rather not one, but I take one at least.
So that's the question: can Doc get Ben and Joel to play together? I mean, what do you guys think? Andre, go right to you. Go to you first. What do you like? What has to happen for 100%. These two guys? Can it happen under Doc?
100%. And I'm gonna tell you why it can happen under Doc. It can happen under Doc for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Sixers was like 6th in the league in defense last year, right? And remember, we talked, Tony, weeks ago about the reason why Doc is coming in is to be a defensive. Like, he loved the fact that the Sixers played defense. The issue is we didn't have the offense rocking and rolling. Right. We know what sparks a fast break. Most of the time, a good defensive play obviously at the defensive end of the court. That's what sparks a great offensive play. But now that we have the shooters and we have the people that can run the point, you got Tobias. We all know what that's all about. You got Shake,
we gotta talk about that.
You got Shake coming back in great shape, right? Mm-hmm. You got Green, who, just so you know, was reports today that Green went out and like shocked the world in practice today because they thought he was going to be rusty. He came out just blazing. Doc was all over the place about him, all over Twitter and wherever else he could be, about Green coming in like almost perfect shape.
That's good.
Just hitting threes. So they're having a great practice. Obviously, they're having great practices. The shooters are here to shoot. We got Seth. Oh, come on. They got the videos of Seth coming off screens and dumping it off to Joel. The defense is the other team is going to have serious matchup problems with the Sixers. That's why I'm thinking that they're going to get further than we can expect. But Doc can make it happen because he got the shooters in place now, and he's already a defensive coach to begin with. That's why it was a little difficult in LA, because he said, I got two defensive juggernauts. I got Paul George and Kawhi, and neither one of them took the lead on who should be the leader on defense. Right. They both felt that, oh, you should do it, or you should do it, or you should. And it was one of those things that you got to have a stone cold leader. Joel was clearly the leader on defense, but Ben was still in the top 10, and was. In fact, Ben, I think, was number 3 in steals.
Yeah, he was 3. Yeah, it was 3. So at one point he went up to 2, and then he got hurt, and then everything went down.
That's my point exactly. This dude is not only playing the passing lanes, he's 6'10" with a wingspan that's crazy. So that's why every time Tony mentions Harden, I cringe. Like it's like, yo, I know. Hold up, don't take nothing away from Harden, because Harden was like number 5 or 6 in steals himself, with I think 1.8 steals a game.
He stepped his game up last year on defense.
Yeah, but I think
he finally figured out that he had to.
Yeah, but a lot of it was like I said, those are deflected passes from Russ, Capella filling the lane. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on for him, I think, to be in that category. I'm not taking anything away from his defensive prowess, because he even said he got a little better this year. Right. But Ben is a generational player. He's a generational player. Where he lacks, where everybody says, is obviously his J, right? Mm-hmm. But this guy runs the point. He sees the floor like. I mean, this guy is a general. He's in my opinion, he's the second coming of Magic. So that's why I love him, man. Wow. I love him. Name another. And this is what I challenge everybody that gets on. Name another 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" point guard that sees the floor like this guy.
And imagine before he got hurt, he was number 3. Number 3, and we had no shooters. Imagine this year.
With no shooters.
Thank you. With none.
Now,
zero.
To Tony's point. Now, Tony, I'm gonna give you your props, because I see you shaking in your chair.
No.
Here's the deal. Harden is an assassin. Okay. And he has a lot of times in the games. If you watch any of the games or watch them through, it's in fact, you know, Harden was here in Philly at one of them tournaments here in Philly at LaSalle, playing in the gym.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
The Danny Rump tournament.
Okay.
Killing it in there. But this dude gets, even in those situations, he gets this thing in his eyes, and you just can't stop him. I don't care who you are. I don't care who. Like, I don't know. I don't care if you're the best defensive player on the earth. You cannot stop Harden when he is in a zone, because he's savvy. He's crafty. He knows how to draw the foul easily, with effortless. That's what separates him from a lot of offensive players. His issue was defense. His issue is defense, because he'll fall asleep. And there's 2-3 times a game that he'll like look around, and Russ didn't like that, because Russ was intense from the time he walked in the gym to the time he went home to his family. He was intense, and sometimes
Westbrook's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, you can't balance that person. You can't balance them personalities.
Yeah,
I ain't a Westbrook guy at all.
Yeah,
I never was. I always thought that he was just a me guy.
Yep.
I'm worried about my stats. Yep. I want a triple-double every night and forget winning. Like, come on, stop that, man.
Well, there's a reason why you've been traded 3 different times. Right. And I used to say all the time, and that was what I hated about Westbrook, because I used to watch him. I used to pick out little things. I used to watch him on the sideline. After the timeout, he just leaves the team. He's not even involved. He's the first one in the locker room. He doesn't care about any, like you said, Alex, me. Yeah, and that's the kind of player he is. And that's why I never liked him.
Oh my God. What was it? A couple years ago, what was it? The MVP year, right? When he had all the triple doubles, everybody, oh my God, triple double. Like, so who cares?
Exactly.
Triple doubles if you're not winning. If you I think they went out the first round of the playoffs that year.
It was terrible.
It didn't matter. Who cares if he's got a triple double, man? And that's so annoying me that everybody was all Westbrooked up, that he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Scoring, all of that type stuff don't mean anything. I seen my boy. He could have a triple-double every night if he really concentrates on it. But he doesn't think like that. He thinks about, how can I get people involved? What's going to be the best things for us to win? Not to worry about triple-doubles and how much I had last night. And come on, man. That dude, I had no... I remember we was talking about getting him. I seen rumors about him. Like, come on, stop it, please.
No.
Please. This town will rip Westbrook apart, because as soon as he says one thing or get a boo, he's going to go back at the fans, and then all hell break loose. That would not be American. That would be American hell, actually.
This ain't UCLA, Russell.
What's that?
This ain't UCLA, Russell.
Nah. He wouldn't be able to handle it here. Yeah,
they run you out.
Man, can you imagine? We could have had D'Antoni and Westbrook.
Oh. Good.
Man. No. I told you, this is no negativity zone. We're not. I know. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
that.
No.
No, but here's. You know how much sage you gonna have to burn if we had that? And I'm not even a sage burn, to be honest with you, but I mean, I've seen people do it. But I'm gonna tell you, I would ask them to just go walk around the Wells Fargo Center with this big old thing of sage and burn, because
keep the demons out.
Yeah, I understand. I have no clue what they would be doing, but
I love it.
But listen, the Sixers are poised, man. I'm telling you, I've never been. I can't tell you the last time I was this excited for a season to start. Bubble, no bubble. Season tickets, no season tickets. I don't know what we're doing there.
Can you imagine starting the season and we had a packed house?
Oh, we would have.
You wouldn't be able to find a ticket. That's first of all. And second of all, I miss our crowd, man. That is our crowd takes it to a whole nother level. Embiid says it all the time, but our crowd is the best in NBA. I don't care what anybody says in any town. We almost, I can't even say help them win. We force them to win. Our will brings them the victory. I mean, what did we lose? 2 games, and we shouldn't even have lost those 2 last year.
That home field advantage, like crazy. I mean, God, I remember in 2001 going down there in the AI days, man. That place was booming, man. Like it was unbelievable.
Couldn't hear the person next to you talking.
Yes, it was incredible.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
It was incredible. It was incredible. And you got to think about it. You got to, when you go back, and obviously at the 01 season, everything that was involved, Pat Croce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just keep it like Billy King.
Yeah.
Then you have, and what made it even special, you had some Philly boys on the team with Aaron McKee.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, like, so everything gelled.
Yep.
Because
Perfectly.
you couldn't tell me AI wasn't from Philly. We all know he's from Virginia. We get that. But when he was here, he was from Philly. Yeah,
he was Philly, man.
He was, exactly. So everything gelled. So when they took that first trip over to LA and won that first game with the iconic step over of Tyronn Lue, when they won that first game, you couldn't tell me that they wasn't winning the chip.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody was like,
until the
game ran out on Broad Street after one win.
Even the second game, they were close. But what killed us is, I can't remember who got hurt. I believe it was George Lynch who got hurt.
George Lynch got hurt.
Right before it. So we really didn't have that rebounding. This dude was getting killed in the center. I mean, Dikembe was getting like
he was getting brutalized by Shaq.
Right, but in AI, listen, we could have won game 2 though.
Yes,
we had a chance to win game 2.
Absolutely.
And my boy from Michigan State, you see the jersey right there. My boy from Michigan State, Eric Snow. I don't know, whatever. Like, he couldn't hit a jump shot.
Snow, man. That was, I can't knock the grit. My man was, he played hard. I get it, but he had the ugliest shot I've ever seen.
Which is weird because at Michigan State, this dude couldn't miss. That's why he went to the league. I tell you what happened to Eric Snow. And I mean, I could be wrong, but this is my opinion of what happened to Eric Snow. When Eric Snow got drafted, he went to Seattle. And that whole team, the glove, he came off the bench.
Gary Payton, yeah.
So when you come off the bench with arguably one of the best defensive players at the time,
the glove,
you're learning defense, and you're totally getting deprogrammed of what you learned in at Michigan State of being an offensive guy. But this dude he came to Philly, big as his brother. Remember Percy Snow? That's his brother. Yeah. Played for Kansas City Chiefs. His like Diesel, and I'm like, man, this guy is like really, and he went back to just being a defensive player, because you're right, Tony. He had the ugliest. Oh man,
it's a shame.
It was a slow,
and nobody could correct it or get it better or anything.
No, it was a clanker too. It was always a clanker.
You're not gonna do that when you got AI.
You was like surprised when he made the jump shot. You was like, good.
Yeah. No, hit like a 15-footer. Like what? Like, I mean, even Raja Bell was shooting better than Snow, man.
That jump shot was broken before he shot it.
Yeah,
that 01 team. But it's the same excitement now. It's the same excitement now at this season that I feel that same excitement that I had then that I feel now for this team now. And that's the point I was making with that, because
we got
in that season, and then we start the season. If we don't start the season 3-0, I'll be disappointed. I'm sorry.
Well, I think one of the other things to your point is you bring in Daryl Morey, which nobody like that was another smoke screen. Like, whoa, what? I mean, you went from nobody and I should say nobody with Elton Brand, but you kind of went with nobody and Brett Brown to Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey, and then you get rid of the Al Horford contract. You're like, wait a minute. And no disrespect to Al, but damn. I was like blown away. I couldn't believe it. Like, and then people were bitching about that, which I have no idea why.
Yeah, because they have no idea what they're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, what he did was a.
You could give him away for a bag of peanuts. You could do the deal.
Exactly. The people that was complaining about that was like varsity badminton.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, how could you know nothing about basketball if you're complaining about that?
Yeah. I seen on Facebook, you going to bring this old guy in here? I just gave him the look like, really? Yeah. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm done talking to you when you say something ridiculous like that.
I mean, you don't even understand what the situation was, man. Like, I mean, come on. In order, and then you get an expiring contract with that. I mean, what it was just ingenious what they did, and it really was. It shocked me. But I will say this is what I want to ask you guys because I got to bring this up before we start to get the roster construction, and it's about Harden. I'll just tell you my issue. Okay, I know, but here's what I think about.
You're about to get jumped, but go ahead.
Well, let me listen, guys. Here's the problem. If we're in the 20th game of the season, and we still are to the fact where we can't score. And we don't have a closer on this team because, listen, the only way I stop talking about Harden is if Tobias actually plays what his contract's worth. If Tobias actually, I don't even talk about Harden.
He's never, but you got to understand, he's never going to be what we want him to be.
But he's got to be our shooter, though.
Yes, but he's never going to be, I don't know. What do you want him? You want to, I think the best he could be on this team is 25 a night. You think he can't be 30?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I want 20. Here, my point is, I want him to do.
I gave him 18 to 23 out. So you're
he's
much
going 25.
Right. If you're 18, 23, I take that too because it's 2 points either way.
I want him.
He's never going to be that 30 guy or 35 that their contract is really for.
No, I want him to be like, I consistently compare him to Bradley Beal in the sense that Bradley Beal was a 20 point. Well, no, just not as a player, but in the point that he scored 20 a game. And then when Bradley got the max, he bumped that up to 25 to 30 a game. So I just want to see that kind of bump from Tobias because I feel like that's what we need. Give me that 5 or 6 point plus production. That's all I want.
All due respect, the first little past the All-Star break, he was playing consistent ball. Now he wasn't going over a couple games. He went over 25, but he was that 22 guy every night. And then when he got in the playoffs, I don't know what happened, but he was consistent because everybody was killing him and saying, "Well, we pay all this guy all this money, and he didn't even up his game." He did, and he was very consistent. He was hitting the threes, and then in the playoffs. He went back before we even traded him. He went bad. Like, I don't know what happened in the playoffs.
But
we needed him to step up.
Why did he play so timid?
Yeah, that's what I didn't get. We can't have that now. We cannot have any of those things no more. Unexplainable and unexcusable for it to happen anymore, too.
Yes. I agree.
No, it is. It's inexcusable for sure.
Yep.
You're getting paid.
Right.
Like, I don't even know if there's enough numbers on the calculator pad to add up how much you get paid every game.
Right.
Exactly.
So to me, that's not even an excuse. You need to be out there balling. But I think this year, Tony's concern is legit. But I also think it's he will bump. He will bump it because for one factor, and again, we talked about this in the beginning of the show. We talked about Doc Rivers. Like I think Doc, in a sense, felt that he failed him. And to develop him as a player over in LA. Okay. So that's another dynamic that no one has, and it's interesting, it hasn't made any headlines or anything yet. Because think about it, who's the 4 people Doc called when he got here? Thibault, obviously. He told Thibault he wanted him to go. He wanted him to go for the defensive player of the year, or he wants to at least be in the talks. He talked to obviously Joel, Ben, and our boy, Tobias.
I thought he called Shake too.
No, he called Shake because Shake was killing himself in the offseason in the weight room.
And he remembered how Shake lit him up in LA.
Man, that's right. That's right. Shake went off in that game.
I'm gonna tell you that relationship between Tobias and Doc is going to be something that we got to pay attention to Tony's point, because Tobias likes this role now. He felt that he had to do a lot, though. Like, he felt, and he wasn't managed, because when Ben went out, I don't think he was managed as, I'm not talking about his play. I think he wasn't managed mentally to what his role needs to be on the floor. And when you have Brett, once again, that's not the right person to be out there trying to tell you how to play on the floor. That is amazing. Brett doesn't make the playoff. Brett didn't make any of the playoff adjustments. Brett was in the playoffs playing like the regular season.
Yes,
there was no raise. No bar was raised.
It's amazing how many people including Ben, that said those type of things since Brent's been gone. I mean, him and Embiid is saying it. Tobias said it. Richardson was saying it before he even got traded. Everybody said the same thing. So if everybody's saying the same thing, we didn't even know what play to run out there. We didn't know what we were supposed to do in this situation. We didn't know. I'm like, what? What do you mean you didn't know what to do in certain situations? That is way more of an indictment than your coach if they're saying that type of thing. That's horrible. He should have been fired just based off of that your players are saying they don't know what to do in certain situations. Oh my goodness.
I agree. Yeah.
Wow.
That was a problem. I mean, listen, that's what got Jimmy Butler, man, right? I mean, this set Jimmy off. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, this was a prep problem.
Jimmy go.
Oh, don't even get me started with that.
But the other thing, we might not be in the position we're in if Jimmy was still here.
I still can't get. I still think it wasn't Jimmy's decision to go. I don't. I still think that Elton didn't want to pay him.
See, that's the only thing is Jimmy won't say. He still hasn't said after all of this time what really happened. Probably down the line we're going to hear the real truth, but I think it was him and coach. And he wanted to do it a certain way, and he had, Jimmy, he's very strong. He wants to tell you how he feels, and he's going to tell you, and if you don't like it, oh well. And Brent was like, I can't take this no more. Get him out of here. And Eldon did what he wanted. That's what I think. It could be something else, but I really think they went with the coach, which – if you was thinking about firing him the next year, you don't go with the coach.
Right, exactly.
Even if you had a little thought about firing him next year, you don't fire the coach. I mean, you don't let the player go. But spill milk now. We got to move on. We got a strong team. We got to play like it.
So where you guys put us right now as presently constructed? I mean, we talk about, listen, Dwight Howard, Seth Curry, Danny Green. I mean, the turnover. I mean, we haven't even talked about the rookies yet, Maxey and Isaiah Joe, which I think are very underrated. A lot of people are talking enough. I love Isaiah Joe. How can you not like a Razorback? But I mean, at the end, right? I mean, I'd go back to the Nolan coach. Nolan Rich with Todd Day and Lee Mayberry.
What was
and Corliss Williamson in the middle, right?
What they used to say, something of hell? What was the saying that they used to have? Something of hell. They because of the press.
I don't even
remember that.
I can't
remember. Yeah, I gotta look that up again. I can't remember. They used to just say something about something of hell. When his teams used to play, because he used to that press used to kill you, and they ran it all game long.
They ran it from the whistle.
Yes.
As soon as that jump ball hit, Nolan Richardson. Well, see, once again, that's coaching. Because think about it, they had Todd Day. They had a couple players who played defense. They just played defense, so it made the offensive player much easier. I'm telling you, I'm just a defensive basketball. Like everything is defense to me. Yeah. So that's the way the Razorbacks play, because think about it, they weren't good. They were good enough to make the tournament and then just start beating people up once they got there. That was the mentality. It's like, all right, let us get to the tournament and then we'll really show you who we really are.
Right.
Because of that conference. Right. But man, that was the formula, and Nolan Richardson had the formula to get those players rolling. And that's what I was impressed with Nolan. He had that Stephen
I used to love those days, man.
But other than
they were. I'll tell you, man. Those days, they were some coaches back then, man. Yeah. I mean, that was when you had the Bobby Knights, the Bobby Cremens, John Thompson. My God, I mean, the coaches, the endless.
Rip the John, man. That was a loss. We lost a lot of people in the last year.
So we talked about not. We know what the agenda is for the night, but we got to throw this in there. We talked about Ben staying. We haven't talked about why you want Harden here now.
Okay.
Well, I already know why, because he can't wait.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. He don't want to wait. He want it now, just like everybody else on here and in Philadelphia. They want it now. They don't want to wait 2 years. They don't even want to wait a half a year. They want it now.
But I've been waiting. We've been waiting. Like we sold our soul. We sold our soul for the process, right? And now it's time to win. And honestly, Andre, my whole thing is, Rick says if we trade Harden, I know Thibault would be part of it. Not necessarily. I don't think so. I would like to see Thibault 1 year under Doc. I think he could be special. I
do like the kid. I love the kid, actually.
Well, I think Andre or Al, I think it was you, were cringing when I said last night that I would trade Ben before I trade Thibault.
Yeah.
Listen,
Andre, did you hear him say that yesterday?
Yeah, I was speechless.
Yeah, well, here's my.
We weren't on camera, so I couldn't really show my face when
he said it. I started looking at the comments, like, is anybody else going to chime in here? Because
I put a big what?
Yeah,
I know. I was like, yo.
But here's the thing.
See, that's why he has a Yeti that you can't see through.
But now listen.
See,
Andre, we gotta let him finish his answer, because I can't wait to hear this.
You gotta let me explain. We talked about this team being defensive minded, right? And I think we all agree that your best defensive player should be Matisse Thybulle. So I'm not trading. If I'm going to trade, right? Well, no, listen. If I'm going to trade Ben,
you trade Ben. Okay.
My best defensive player is going to be Thybulle.
Right.
And I think he offers more offensively than Ben will, honestly, on this team. So my whole point about not waiting is, if I get Harden tomorrow, I'm getting 36 points a game. Say what you want. I'm getting at least 30 plus. And I keep hearing about this team not being able to score, not being able to shoot, yada, 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 yada. Well, guess what? For 3 years, in my opinion, for 3 years with Harden and Joel, that is a nasty combination. It's just like the Lakers are built with LeBron and AD, a big guy and a scorer. And then you build around him. So that in the out game from Embiid to Harden, and then you have Tobias, and then you have Danny Green, and then you have Seth Curry, that's unstoppable. But right now with Ben, it's a question mark.
Okay, so a couple of things with that.
Yeah,
all right, so you say, all right, so on the other thing, we don't know what else they will want, because they're going to want something else except for Ben.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's one. Two, which is my biggest thing, 31-24. How many years can you get out of Harden at this top playing condition?
3.
Not when he started getting nicked up all the time and injury here and injury there.
You're right.
He's 31, so I give you 2 years tops at his top game before he start. All right.
Okay.
Now, next one. 100%. The ball has to go in first, and deal with that. He's never had to think about that. He doesn't think about somebody else gets the ball before him. And it has to be that way. You have to feed Joe. What is Joe out there for if you're not going to feed him? Now, he did do a lot of oops to Capella. I get that. I get all of those type of things. But Joe isn't necessarily a oop guy. He wants the ball, and he wants to dominate and dunk on somebody down low and make a move and hit a J in somebody's face after a little shaky. He wants to do those type of things. He doesn't necessarily want oops. He'll do it. Ben did it to him a couple times, here and there. But those things are those type of things is what I think about when I think about Harden. He's got to want to get it to Ben first. Is he? Maybe. What you're going to give up and the age. Those 3 things right there are enough for me to say, I'm out. Now, if you can get a trade without trading Ben, I'm all for that.
Yeah. Sign me up yesterday for that.
Right. If you can do somehow where, and you might be able to get Houston to get desperate, where you can say, all right, look, take the Tobias, and I'll give you 3 first rounders. Or take Tobias in, even though I don't want to give up Shake, take Shake. Then, oh my goodness. Oh, stop it. I mean, you might as well sign me up for the finals right then and there if we can do a trade like that. But those type of things is just. I don't know if it can. I don't know. I just anybody is even saying that, I give them the stink eye when they even say trade Ben. But it's a lot of factors. 24-31 is just 24-31.
I get it.
So the other thing, just to add on that, because I think that you made that was an incredible argument, Tony. Al. But listen, I always was thinking about, because when Tony first said that, I must admit, and I'll admit it since we face to face, I did like this, right? But that went away within about 5 seconds. Because, and the only reason why I did is because I was thinking about the health of Embiid. Because we talked about the window. He
does make a great point when he's talking about that. Yeah, when he said it the other day, I was thinking about that.
Yeah, but I think that strengthens the argument of why Ben should stay. Because I think with the makeup of the team, with the makeup of this particular team, with more perimeter shooting, we don't need Embiid out there
to dominate.
Trying to shoot threes.
Oh, trying to shoot threes. Okay.
Tell him that.
Bringing the big man out, depending on whatever offensive scheme that Doc is running. So I think the load will be heavier on Embiid with Harden out there dancing for 5 seconds, and Embiid's like, I don't know what to do now. I'm a little lost. Right. Now he's caught watching Harden.
Right.
Which happens to every team.
3 seconds a couple of times a game.
No, 3 seconds, 17 times a game.
Right. That's a lot of tees, man. Yeah. That's a lot of tees.
Right. That's just a lot of tees, bro. I'm saying that's like 3 seconds. It's like, we're going to start the game. This dude's been camping out in the lane. But here's the thing. I think that the wear and tear on Embiid is more of a threat with Harden than it is with the makeup of the perimeter shooting with Green and stuff. And that's that point. Okay. Because when he first said that, I said, that may work. Because like Tony, I was thinking win now. I was thinking long term, no. Because it's almost like I will want Harden, and it's not going to happen, but on 2K it can happen. I want Harden now. And then I'll bring Ben back. I'll bring him back.
You can make everything happen in 2K, man. Come on.
That ain't going to happen. But the reality of it is if Ben and Green and Seth and the rotation with Thibault, because the other things we're going to talk about is the people that's coming in for. We haven't really talked about the White, and we haven't talked about the 31-year-old Mike Scott. We haven't talked about there's only 2 players on our team that's even been in the league 10 years or more. Right. So everyone else still has to adjust to right. And someone made a comment in the chat. I said, this isn't Pee Wee basketball. Right. So I get it, but there's a learning curve, there's a conditioning curve. There's people that's going to literally be in the gym 24 hours a day. And then there's going to be people that's just not going to be here. Harden, I just don't see where the culture of this team even fits Harden. We want Harden as obviously as fans. We want to win now. But the culture of the city, the culture of the team, the way it's constructed, it doesn't, something's not right about the way he fit. And there's a reason. I think one of you guys mentioned it earlier in the call. There's a reason why he's on 3 or 4 teams already.
Right.
We're talking about Westbrook.
Oh no, we were talking about Westbrook.
We were talking about Westbrook, but okay.
Well, Harden too.
Well, if he goes to another team, he's going to be the 3rd team, right?
Right. His 4th. Be his 4th, right?
No. He started in OKC.
Just OKC in Houston.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's my bad. That's
because you talk about no beard Harden and beard Harden.
Right.
It's two different Hardens. But at the end of the day, man, listen, I think the makeup of this team doesn't fit Harden. And I hate to say it, I really do. But Milwaukee is a better fit for Harden than even Brooklyn.
See, that's the problem I have too.
It probably would be. It probably would be.
Yeah,
I'm not scared of Milwaukee. I'm not scared of Milwaukee.
Yeah, but if they add Harden, we take a step back again. You don't think so? If Brooklyn or Milwaukee adds Harden.
Yeah, but how much would Brooklyn have to give up to get Harden?
They're not going to give up anybody of any substance.
They get a whole team up.
They will probably have to give up at least 4 to 5 bench players
because KD and
just to match the
Kyrie are
salary.
untouchable.
Right, just to match the
salary,
you gotta
salary.
give up. Yeah.
In Milwaukee, what we gotta keep in mind is Milwaukee is, like I mentioned on Twitter earlier. Milwaukee is counting change at this point. They mortgaged like half their 3 or 4 seasons out.
And I don't think they got that much better by getting what's the name from New Orleans.
Yeah, Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I don't know. They made them better, but it didn't make them like, oh, they're going to the finals better. So I'm not scared of them.
They didn't get I think they made a mistake too. I think they made a mistake.
Oh,
they got Drew.
You don't think they should have did that?
I don't think they should, because it's just my opinion. I think they made a mistake because Milwaukee was built to run the floor. Drew's a half-court player.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Milwaukee. So Giannis is his best in an open court.
Yes.
Right.
Like he's a beast down low because of his size. He's wide, pause, but you know what I mean. This dude's a beast down low. But Drew Holiday is he's a captain of the ship. Like, this dude is kind of slow paced, but he's savvy. But he's more half court type of mentality, half court player. Like.
Good point.
We'll see.
Yeah, who did they lose? Who did they lose in that trade when that guy opted out and went to Atlanta? I forget his name.
Well, they lost DiVincenzo, right?
The other guy that went to Atlanta and signed a big contract, that offer sheet with Atlanta. The shooter. Actually, I wanted him too. I can't remember his name.
I know who you're talking about.
He could shoot, and they thought they had a deal for him, and he said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm going to free agency." And then they signed a offer sheet to Atlanta, and Atlanta threw some crazy money at him, and what Sacramento said, "Nah, I'm out. I'm not paying that money." They didn't even get
I'm out.
the extra shooter that they even wanted. So I have I'm not worried about that. But quick thought on the Ben Simmons. Do you really want to look on ESPN and Ben is top 5 in every statistical category in the NBA, steals, this, leading hit? I mean, the Houston won't be a good team, but you looking like, damn, we could have had Ben Simmons he didn't even hit his prime yet. And you really want to look on SportsCenter and watch him grow. Meanwhile, we're paying Harden $48 million a year, and he's not even half of the person he's selfish. And by the way, we didn't win anything.
Yeah. I definitely don't want that to happen, okay? Yeah. I'll tell you that. I definitely don't want that to happen. I'm just getting impatient, man. And I just keep thinking of 36 points per game. That's all I just keep thinking. We have not had that scoring ability since AI. And we still don't have that scoring ability every single game.
No. And probably won't ever have that scoring ability ever again. Except, exactly. I mean, B&B could drop over 30. Technically, if he didn't have as much help around him, and B probably could do 30 a night. Over 30 a night if he didn't have people to give the ball to once he gets it down low. But because he's going to have so much scoring, he's never probably going to hit the 30 a night because he's passing the ball, it's coming in, it's going out. And if we're going to win, we don't need him to do 30. We just need him to be him, but not be killing himself and
stay to be
healthy.
We need Embiid to be healthy. We need Embiid to be the beast that he can be, and we need Doc to kind of adopt the same strategy Vogel did too. Well, we got to keep in mind, Vogel was subbing AD out, and then sometimes playing AD and McGee together.
Right.
And because they had that third center. Right, and then let
him take the pounding.
Let him take the pounding, but more importantly, let him take the pounding and the fouls. But here's where Vogel got smart. If you think about it, AD was sitting. It's very rare that McGee and Howard played together, right?
Yeah,
very rare they played together. But he didn't really play. He played McGee all through the regular season, way more minutes than Howard.
Right,
and he waited until He waited until the playoffs, and then it was switched. It was more Howard coming in than McGee. And that's what we need. That's right, because it takes the load off of AD. It takes the load off, and it's just that rotation.
Now, how about having all of the Swift Army knife pieces to go small, go big, go too big, go too small, can go any way you want to, but you have to get the team formulated in that fashion where you can be able to do those type of things. And then how good did they put that team together that they could be able to do any way they want to go? They can go and you want to play big this game? Let's go. You want to go small this game? Okay, let's go. And be able to do, and be able, that's the problem. Right. Be able to do it because you have the tools to do it.
You do, and you got AD that can pay 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah. And listen, they drafted well too in LA. Right. They have a couple homegrown players out there. Where did Caruso come from? My God.
Yeah, that kid.
Come on.
From his barber.
He's
his barber.
He's like a better. He's like a better. He's a better TJ McConnell.
His barber with him, man.
How about that? A better like TJ McConnell with hustle and all of this stuff.
But he actually way better TJ.
He got hops too.
What's that?
He had hops too.
He did.
Caruso got
hops. I'm telling you, man, he came out of nowhere. He did have a wacky haircut. I get it, Andre. You know what I mean? Between him and Korkmaz, I don't know who had the worst fade.
Yeah, Corky was.
Corky.
Did you see that quote today that Doc said Cork is going to be a big part of the team? Doc, really? First of all, I'm looking forward to see how many minutes he's going to play.
Where's he going to
play? That's what I'm wondering. I think he meant rotation.
Okay.
I hope.
But I'm still wondering where he's going to play. He can shoot when given the opportunity some time, but I don't know. You're not. 10 minutes a game? Maybe.
Right. Maybe.
Yeah, but Cork is an off-screen shooter.
How do you guys see this team stacking up right now? Let's talk about that because we had a lot of off-season additions, and listen, we've already been an hour into this show, which has been great. We can tell how passionate we are. So, how do you feel about this team, the way it's constructed right now? Like, give me your top, like, number one, who's the starting lineup, and who are your top 3 guys off the bench every game? Who are your top 3 guys? Al, what do you think? Who's your starting 5 and who are your top 3 guys going off the bench?
I've been thinking about this.
It's tough.
It's not easy because you got veterans, but then you want to sprinkle in a little bit of the youth. So my first idea was obviously Ben and Joe, right? And then Danny and Shake, and then of course Tobias. But because I think Curry can adapt to whatever you want him to adapt to. If you want him to start, he'll start. If you want him to come off the bench, he'll come off the bench. But it's going to give Shake that confidence that Doc wants to have in him. So when we need him, which he showed me something in the bubble. That's another reason why I want to keep Shake. He showed me something. He hit a lot of big shots in the bubble. Had no hesitation in shooting them. I like that. So if you give him that starting spot and you give him that confidence, that could take us a very long way and let everybody else adapt to what we want to do. So then so if we go in that form, then you got Curry, Thibault, and who else am I forgetting off the bench? Of course, Howard.
Right.
Because I think Howard can do so many things. We'll never have to worry about Embiid getting in foul trouble anymore.
No.
But we do got to keep Howard out of foul trouble too, because he'll bang somebody. He has no problem with taking the hard foul.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man.
We got to pick and choose when you give those.
He forgets. He think he Rick Mahorn sometimes. He forgets. But I like that. I agree with you. I like shaking the starting lineup, and I like bringing. Listen, Curry's 30 years old, so I'm not saying he's old, but he's not young.
Right.
So
he can come off the bench like the old what was the the 3 players on the video game back in the day. NBA what? What was the thing?
NBA Jam.
Yeah, NBA Jam coming off the bench, shooting, just killing them.
You know,
fireballs. Yeah,
yes.
I would love that. Oh my!
I like
imagine
that.
Howard coming up on the pick on somebody and him coming off. Oh, dropping 12 points in the second quarter, and in the second half. The second half of the first quarter. I mean, you'd be like, dang, yeah, we didn't even have to do anything. Curry just came in on fire, and that's what would be beautiful.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Andre,
what do you think? You like that?
I like the starting 5, but I want Seth starting only because we have Ferguson at a 6'7" shooting guard coming in off the. Like we got him as, I mean, he's 6'7" shooting guard, which is going to cause a matchup problem. Yeah,
you know what? I do forget about him. Hold on. Let me ask you this: who is the other guy that got thrown in yesterday? I seen they said they threw one extra dude in the trade, I guess for cap reasons, and we had to send $2 million to him. But it was somebody else they threw in the deal. I never even heard of that guy. Somebody they threw in at the end, and it wasn't in the original deal. So that's
Dakota Matthews. Dakota Matthews.
I can't remember who it was.
Because
but anyway, go ahead with your point. But I did forget about that guy coming off.
It may be Dakota because he's a shooting guard too.
Okay.
So he's a shooting guard. So we not only got better on the perimeter, we got deeper. That's why I don't mind starting Seth. And so either way it happens, whether you start or not, I think it's a good formula anyway. But I think starting him gives you a better chance to get the game going. Because now you got this because here's the thing, you got the 6'2", you got a 6'2" prototype guard, right? But then you got the 6'10" non-prototype guard.
Gotcha.
So the matchup problems on whoever, no matter who we're playing on defense, there is a weird matchup. That person's going to have to switch from Ben to Seth to Ben, running out to the perimeter, going into the. So we're squared away at guard, obviously. But coming off the bench, remember we brought back old man, beat up everybody in practice, Justin Anderson.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
We bought like this guy. Like, don't get me. Justin is good for one thing. He's good for getting you ready for the game.
Right.
And you need people in practice like that. You
do.
I'm telling you. So here's someone in the comments made a comment about Joel Embiid and the centers. But remember, we got Tony Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
We got Tony Bradley that can to spell Joel, and we got Dwight. That's why I brought up the point about what Vogel did. Because you got 6'10", 7 foot, 7 foot. No, 6'11". You got 6'11", 7 foot, 7 foot. And you also got 6'10" point guard.
Right.
That's crazy.
So we can go big, we can go small. So depending on, and knowing Doc, because remember, Doc had the luxury of number 9. He had Rondo for a while. Like he had that was and he had prime Rondo.
Right, prime Rondo.
Yeah, he had prime Rondo. He had
like
Rondo that can still play Rondo. He had prime Rondo.
Mm-hmm.
So now think about what his like with Ferguson, because Rondo was what 6'4", 6'5".
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Ferguson
I think Rondo about that. Yeah,
you got Ferguson at 6'7" that can shoot your lights out too, though. But at 6'7", the Sixers are built for matchup problems. And that's what, and I think Doc is the right person. I'm like this Doc, like I'm everything Doc, right? Doc is the right person to get the people to play at their position, at their potential. That's why I'm excited.
Maximizing.
But so the starting 5 is the media starting 5. I call it the media start. You got Danny Green, obviously Seth, Joel, Ben, and Tobias. But I'm good with that too. Right, but you still got Shake. You still got the bench that you. So the Sixers went from 5, maybe six deep to 9,
8,
maybe
9.
10.
Yep.
I was going to say they're like 9 deep now.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
Imagine the swing. Imagine the swing of Ben coming to the wings, Steph on one side, Shake on the other side. They run to Seth, and he swings it to Tobias in the corner, wide open.
Tobias got to make that shot.
If he doesn't hit that shot, we got problems.
Yes.
But it should be open every night. Every night, a million times, because they're going to run the sets before they run to you, Tobias. So you got to be ready, cocked and ready, catch and shoot, and don't do the hesitation stuff that you did a couple of times last year. There's no hesitation on this now. It's coming to you. Just be ready. What'd you say?
No, I'm saying we keep talking about the perimeter and shooting, right? But no one's giving. But there's one thing about Seth. Seth a penetrator.
Yeah,
he'll penetrate and dish. And we still haven't talked about the rookies or Shake in depth.
Right.
We talked about it. Like we talked. Isaiah Joe is Isaiah. Listen, this dude is that guy. And now
you notice they signed him to a 2-year deal. Signing, not a two-way signing, a regular signing. That tells you everything you need to know on the confidence they have in him.
And bringing him in under Doc with some veterans on the team, including because we have veterans and stars.
Yes,
we have a nice blend of rookies, veterans, and stars all together, and we got Doc leading it. This would be a mess. This would be a total mess under someone else.
I'll tell you what.
You don't want to say his name? You don't want to say his name?
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. But last year they should have drafted Carson Edwards, and they didn't. Right. So this year they get Isaiah Joe. Right. So thank God, because it kind of alleviates that Carson Edwards pain that I got to see in Boston all the time now, because I really like that kid. So I'm kind of glad. I like Isaiah Joe. Tell me about listen, I'm not a college guy right now. I have too much on my plate. So tell me about Tyrese Maxey, man. I know he's Kentucky, so that means he's absolutely bred for the NBA. Hey, what can we expect out of this kid?
That's in your wheelhouse.
Nah, I'm not. Listen, man, I can't.
I never was a college guy. When it get closer to draft, I'll look at some stuff. Right. But I never will. A little bit here and there. Of course, every year I cheer for Nova. But absolutely. And actually, I wanted that kid. Who drafted that kid from Nova? I wanted him.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was getting close to our pick, and then somebody grabbed him right before us. But go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I was never a college guy. I was back in the day. I used to go to Palestra. I used to get at A-10 tournaments. I mean, man, I used to watch those battles between UMass and Temple with Calipari and Chaney. I mean, but I as I got older, I kind of got out of it. Just too much going on. So I don't know. What do we expect out of Maxey? I mean, what kind of player is he?
This is what we're going to expect out of Maxey. First of all, Maxey's going to give everybody problems in practice. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Okay.
This dude is tough. He's a 6'3" point guard. He got a chip on his shoulder. He doesn't believe that he should even went 21st in the draft.
Yeah, I like that.
That's number one. Number two, this dude, Joel Embiid and his camp and all his whoever he hangs out with, who he still keeps in touch with at Kentucky. This guy thought he was going to go 5 or 6.
Wow.
He went 21st. Major chip on his shoulder, giving fits in practice. He's tough. And he's a 6'3" point guard who can jump out the building.
Okay.
That's not even his game.
Some highlights. I seen him working with Rondo. Did you see the highlights of him working out with Rondo?
Yeah, but
did you guys see that?
This dude, listen, he plays.
I did see that.
He's also a point guard. He's the point guard that will pass you the ball, and the ball will bust you on your head if you're not watching and paying attention.
Okay.
So if he gets the ball and you run into the court, you always got to feel that you're going to get the ball. That's because he's not a ball hog, and he's a natural floor general, but will dunk on you too.
Okay. So we're gonna love him in there. And you know whose pick that was? Do you guys remember whose pick that was?
Yeah, whose was? I remember reading about it. That's right.
That was in the Fultz trade. Mm-hmm. So wouldn't that be crazy that pick wound up coming to be him, and he being better than Fultz anyway at 21?
Wow. I think he already is better than Fultz.
Buddy, Tony will tell you, Al, you've seen it. I've made a few Fultz references in football.
Yeah, yes, I've seen them. I think
we Markel Fultz and Carson Wentz.
So Rick wants to know. Rick says, he says, can he play off the ball? He talked about Maxey. Can he play off the ball?
Hey, Rick,
the gym rat.
Rick, if there's any weakness, if there's any weakness, the only thing I've seen in highlights, I believe that he's not that good off the screen.
Okay.
He's not that good off the screen, but he's good at the pick and roll, right? But he's not like, so if someone's setting the screen and he has to come around, he's still, remember, he's not a small guy. He's like almost 200 pounds. Like a 6'3", 200-pound guy.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
So laterally, he may be challenged a little bit, but I don't think Doc will put him in them situations where he has to do that on the court, though. Unless either that or this is an opportunity to develop him in that area. Because the dude is, when I watch him, I'll be like, man, this is the guy who you better come to practice prepared and not take him for granted, because he'll get you. If you turn your head this way, he's already over you about to dump you.
It told me everything I needed to know about the kid. About 3 minutes after he got drafted, this young man behind me tweeted out he's going to be a problem for the NBA. So if he giving this stamp on somebody, I kind of trust that he's going to be nice. He said he was working out with him all the whole off season, up 5:30 in the morning practicing. So I'm good with that.
I think he's legit, man. Listen, I'm excited. I mean, I'm very excited. So we got about 15 minutes left. And before I get to the big three quite where it's going to get really interesting, let's just talk about, because we can't say what's going to happen in the playoffs, but I just want to hear your guys' expectations of where you think this Sixers team can finish as presently constructed. Let's just pretend there's no more moves, no injury. Let's just pretend this is the team. Where in the East do you feel as though they will finish when it comes time to be end of the year? Andre, where do you think?
I'm going to ECF.
You're going Eastern Conference Finals.
100%. And the biggest reason why I'm going is for what we talked about in the beginning. We started this show while talking about Doc Rivers. 100% Doc Rivers. That's why I'm going ECF.
I like it.
We second round at best with the other guy.
Right.
That's true. Right. I give you that. Al, what do you think?
I would agree. It's no other goal in mind, because you got to take that next step. And that's part of the reason why Mr. Brown is not here anymore, besides a lot of other reasons. But we couldn't get to that next step. We got to that game 7 of the next step, but we didn't get past that next step. And everybody knew it was only a matter of time that Brown had to go if we couldn't get to that next step. So the next step is the Eastern Conference Finals. Who we play there and how we play, that is going to tell us everything we need to know on going into the next year. But Eastern Conference Finals, I don't even hesitate with that.
Well,
I'm not scared of anybody in the East.
Al, I 100% agree. There's three teams of why this whole situation and this storm came together. Boston, Milwaukee, and Toronto. Those 3 teams: Toronto, Boston, and Milwaukee.
They took a major hit. Toronto this year. We wouldn't
even be talking about what we're talking about right now. In the last 3 years, we couldn't get over Boston, Milwaukee, and Toronto. That's the only reason why we're really talking, because we're in a market, because we don't have to talk about marketing and all that and television and shares, but we're in a market. We're in a big market where we have to beat these teams.
Yeah.
We don't have.
It's not even a must.
We don't have a luxury of the bum Knicks. We don't have the luxury of the bum Knicks who've been garbage for the last umpteen years. So they're almost forgettable. They went from Mecca to mess.
Crazy.
Like they're forgettable. So this is why Boston, Milwaukee, Toronto. That's why we're having a conversation even today, because we got to get over those 3. To Al's point, we got to that 7, but what do we need to do to get to that next level? And we made all the right decisions and choices and position people put the people in the right positions to make that next level possible. So we got to do it. We don't have no excuse. Anything less
is unacceptable. Unacceptable with the talent we have on this team. I won't hear anybody saying any excuses, this, that. If we're not in the Eastern Conference Finals,
it's a failure. No, it's a straight up failure. It's a failure. And this city can't take it. We can't take it anymore.
As it is, they won't even take it if we get there and don't go to the finals. But at least if we can get to the Eastern Conference Championship, at least we can say we took that one step, and then next year let's get to the finals. That type of thing.
Rick says Bucks, Celtics, Nets, Heat, no first round home court, 1 to 2 years away. So that's
we don't need that with this type of team. We're not going to need home court. Actually, home court isn't home court anymore. There's going to be nobody in the stands.
Yeah, not this year.
Yeah, home court won't matter to us right now. Not the year after, when everybody's got the vaccine and all that, and the big house is jumping again, the home court is going to mean a lot. But this year, home court, who cares now? You just got a ball.
See, you guys got me excited, but those 4 teams, they scare me, man. Indiana scares me.
Why does Indiana scare you?
Indiana scares me, man. I like the way they're constructed. I mean, we got to see what Oladipo can come back and be the guy.
I don't know if he's ever going to be the same.
It's a shame, man. Yeah. I hope he is.
Tony, those are legitimate concerns because of history, right?
Right.
Let's just keep it real. Like you should be. But let's just be honest. If we all play sports, we all was nervous when we walked onto that floor or we walked onto that field. We all had that burning. It's superstars today that still get nervous before every game, right? Mm-hmm. And that's based on history. But the team is constructed to win and to win now. Now, Harden, Tony.
Who has our bench?
Tony wants the cherry on top of the whipped cream already. All right.
Well, of course.
So
that's why he's Philadelphia, though. He's Philadelphia in his nutshell. Everybody would say, "Is Tony Philly?" He's Philly. I don't care about 2 years from now. I don't care about now. I want it now. That's what Philly is.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. Don't worry.
Right.
We're constructed to win now, Tony. Yes. It's going to be all right. Breathe.
I hope so, man.
Breathe. And we're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. See, here's what we talk about the Razorbacks. Nolan Richardson said, we get to the Final Four, they're going to fear us, right?
Absolutely.
We get to the Eastern Conference Finals. No one wants to play the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals, but then it also gives you an opportunity to win. You can't win nothing if you're not there.
Yeah,
you got to get there.
That's true.
So once you get there, you take advantage of that situation. You leverage all your players. You leverage the situation, and you say, you know what? I mean, look, you get to the finals, you don't know what's going to happen.
So we can all agree this is ECF or bust.
100%.
I'm in for that then.
100%.
Okay.
Not even a question.
I don't want to hear first round exit. Well, this happened or something.
Nah.
This is ECF or bust.
Yes.
ECF, yeah.
I like that. So that's where we're at. That's great. I like it. Now I'm excited. I can't wait to the 22nd or the 23rd actually against Washington. So that's going to be interesting. But this is where we're going to get it. We got about 5 minutes left. And I want to listen. Big 3. Now, when I say this, it's where I want to see where you guys go. You need to take 3 players in the NBA present day right now to roll with. This is Ice Cube's Big 3 league. You're taking your Big 3 on a blacktop. 3 guys. Who are your 3 guys you're rolling with in the Big 3? Al, I'm going to go right to you first. Who are your Big 3 right now? Thinking.
Al, he baiting you. He baiting both of us with his Harden thing. Be careful.
Well,
he's baiting.
Harden's not going to be one of my 3, so you got to worry about that. I say 2 on the same team: Bron, AD, and KD.
Woo!
Wow. Inside, outside, you can step inside, you can post up, you can take off the dribble. Bron ain't even got to shoot; he can just pass. I take them 3 right there, and who's gonna beat them? Wow. We got the height. Everybody's so 6'10" or taller. We're good.
I like that. I like that 3. That's a tough squad to beat. Andre, can you beat that squad?
I'm just going to switch it up just a little. I'm going Bron, Embiid, and KD.
Embiid
and KD.
Interesting.
You could do that too. You
got all these bigs, man. You guys are
Bron, Embiid, and KD.
You got to you got to have a big that can shoot inside and out too. So that was part of my thinking, and Embiid could do that.
So
I think Embiid is just a little more savvier than AD in the box, though, in the block. I don't
100%.
In the block.
He don't want no smoke down there with Embiid. You notice every time they play, he wants no part of Embiid down there on the box.
Embiid going to get tired though. That's the only problem, Andre. I don't think he's going to be hustling back and forth. You do a lot of cherry picking, I think.
Well, you're going to have court here. We ain't going full.
I said breathe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's
true. We're talking 3. We're talking big 3. We're going.
Embiid,
but listen, I'm going to go completely. I'm going to go completely off base here.
He's going Steph Curry.
He's going to go quick.
No. I'm going to go Giannis is going to be my big guy.
I'm not worried about Giannis.
And I'm going to go my love affair with Dame. I got to have Dame in there. And I'm not going Luka Doncic.
Dame is a problem to defend. Yeah.
I'm going Luka Doncic. I'm going Dame, and I'm going Giannis. That's my big 3.
I'm not worried about Luka.
That's a tough 3. That's a tough 3. Now, if you'd have said Giannis, let's see, what is it? Giannis 17, 2017 Giannis. Then you probably wouldn't have said it. But
I'm gonna say something that's gonna shock both of you.
Giannis, yes.
Giannis, in my opinion, is overrated.
Oh, listen.
Ooh.
I knew that was gonna shock both. I think he's overrated.
I agree with him.
He wants to run you over, and if he can't, that's all he has.
You're right.
He's not doing any. He doesn't have a post game. He doesn't have an off the dribble. He just wants to run you over. And if he can't, when Embiid faces him, that shows you everything. Because Embiid can stay with him on the off the dribble, and then he can't shoot over Embiid. I can't believe so many people think like he's the best player in the NBA right now. He has so many holes in his game. It's ridiculous.
And just so you know,
because he can run people over.
He can,
and nobody can stop
Milwaukee, and I'm sorry to cut you out, but I'll tell you this: Milwaukee was this close from being just a mess of a team. Because Middleton and Giannis wasn't really on the same page a lot of times. They were that close from being a mess of a team. That coach, if it wasn't for that coaching staff trying to keep them together throughout the playoffs, that whole team was. But I think it started pulling apart because Middleton is a rough player. He's a player like, look, I need the ball outside, inside.
Right.
Because he's that quiet guy that's going to throw you 17, 18 points a game. You're like, yo, this dude.
Quiet 18, 17.
Yes.
This guy got 18 points, and where it come from? Everybody's focusing on the 34 that Giannis putting up. But this dude is killing you. You know, and if you think about it, the people the point guard was getting the ball to Middleton. Giannis was getting the ball on the block for like rebounds and things like that. But you're right, he wasn't that savvy on the block and post moves and stuff like that.
His matchup problem. His problem is nobody. Not many teams can match up with Giannis, and that's what he takes advantage of every night. And it's not because he's that good; it's just nobody can match up with him. That's why. That's what it is.
Yeah, Rick says Luka, AD, and Kawhi. That's
Luka, AD.
See, I love.
You could do that.
Yo, Rick went defense. He's like, if I can stop, Rick is like, if I can stop the other guy, I only got to worry about 2 guys.
Yeah, but that's why I picked KD because KD shoot over anybody.
That's true.
It doesn't matter who you are.
There's nobody on the planet. There's nobody on the planet. See, that's why that's why that whole KD LeBron thing. They're 2 totally different players. There's nobody on the planet like KD.
No.
There's no. You're seven.
Sharpshooter as sharpshooter can. You can't even get a better sharpshooter than that dude.
No, there's nobody on the planet like KD. But there's nobody on the planet like 150-year-old LeBron either.
Yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to get back to that KD ever again. that will up fake you and dunk on you, and then just come down and shoot 6 threes in a row, and there's nothing you can do about it. If he's going to miss, he's going to miss. But if he makes them, there's nothing you do. Come right back down the court and do it again.
And I know we're going
just,
to be talking on all Sixers, but how much more bad luck can Golden State get?
I know.
Poor Clay, man.
Clay. I love Clay. I wanted him on our team at one point.
I know, me
too. So now both legs now. Both legs.
And it just goes to show you, how one player on a multiple championship team, one player messes the whole chemistry up for the team. Just one player.
I don't even know how his jump shot can be the same ever again.
Yeah, you're right.
He had perfect form, perfect everything, and it's no way. I mean, wow, man, that's crazy. That's
big
crazy,
blow, man. That's a big blow.
And he comes from basketball legends. Like, I mean, Milt Thompson he was the man back in that.
Wow,
the MJ, the Magic Johnson days and Milt Thompson, like the Coopers of the world, like that team was incredible.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't even know. Steph is no way he's come. He probably can't come back until middle of next year. Middle of next season, he probably can't come back from the Achilles. Wow. Maybe. And it might be had to sit out after this season. He might have to sit out another season just to get right, because you don't want anything else to happen. That's back-to-back years.
Man.
I don't think I ever seen that.
You sold your soul for the championships, man. You know what I mean? We say it all the time. It happens, man. It happens. But
can we keep it honest? Can we keep it real honest? It seemed like the Golden State Warriors championships was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it does.
You're right.
It seems like
at least 10 years ago minimum.
Because that light is bright over in LA. Once they won, you forgot who was the champions the last couple of years.
Yep.
It's that star power, that market, everything about it. Like, think about, did you see what I put on Twitter earlier? They have 16 nationally televised games in the first half of the season. Like, listen, they're trying to, the NBA is like, we need these revenue dollars.
I seen something. Were you the person that put up that they're trying to recoup all their revenue?
Yeah.
I seen that. Yeah, that's crazy. That they need their money back.
That light, that's what I'm saying. That light that star power is that big in Los Angeles.
Always been, man.
It's
always
that
been.
big. So it doesn't even matter who they play. They can play the Globetrotters, and it would be like the whole world be watching because it's their star power, and
it's showtime.
It's showtime.
Wait till these preseason games, man. Everybody and their grandma gonna be watching the preseason games, and there's nothing to really watch, but everybody's gonna be watching them.
It made you forget that the Dodgers won.
Right, it does.
Like, that's like,
back-to-back champions in baseball and basketball, and they like, they won. They did win. Yeah,
that's how big the star power is in LA. Like you get a championship, that's it.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, guys, it's been real, man. Listen, this has been excellent, and for everybody listening, I appreciate it. I love having these shows. I'll pump. You guys got me pumped, man. I went from second round with the Sixers to Eastern Conference Finals. I'm on board. I think you guys talked me off the Harden train. I think you did. I honestly think you did. So. Because honestly, listen, I respect the hell out of both you guys' knowledge when it comes to the NBA game. So a lot of things you guys said about the pieces and the formations and what's going to change it's got me a little excited because I've always said I don't think Ben needs to shoot. Ben just needs to score. And that's always my point. Ben needs
exactly
to
what Doc said when he first got here. Doc said that his first thing he said, I don't care about him shooting. I care about him scoring. If we score 130 points again, who cares?
Be decisive and finish at the rim. That's all you need to do because you can get to the hole quicker than anybody in the league, in my opinion, right now. Except LeBron could just bully anybody. I will. I mean, listen, I'll give you that one now. He can. I mean, there's not many people going to stand in front of LeBron, even at 30. What's he, 35 now? 30,
no, he's 33. He's about to turn 34, and I think this month. I think he's turning 34 this month.
Impeccable shape, too. What's
that
that?
dude's like in dog years. That dude is 24 years old, man.
It's
He's
crazy.
24 years old, and in a couple years, his legacy is going to
absolute machine.
His legacy is going to be stamped when he's on the floor with his son.
Yeah. And that's what he's waiting for. That's why he signed that new deal. He won't say it, but all the rumors are saying that's why he signed that next deal. His son to be in there after his freshman year, and he wants to play one game against his son.
Dude, that'll be phenomenal.
No, it's going to be incredible. Don't think it's going to be. It'll be incredible for the NBA, and don't think for a second that Silver and Jeannie Buss is not in conversation.
Oh my God! And bring him to LA. That's what you're saying. Oh, you about to say and bring Bronny to LA?
Yeah.
Speaking of Bronny, Bronny is going to be a problem. Because he's going to his boy Mike in Duke.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely going to Duke.
Coach K.
He doesn't want him to go anywhere else but to Coach K. I don't think he would let him go anywhere else except for the Coach K.
Oh, Rick says I don't think we make it out of the first round this year. Keep the faith. Great job, guys. P.S. LeBron at best third all time.
Yeah, he made sure he said that one more time.
Yeah.
Rick knew that we're about to sign off. He said,
he's gonna shot across the bow.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, listen. We're gonna do this more often, fellas. So once it gets geared up, maybe every couple weeks we go on here, have a little Sixers review, little NBA review, get the chat going and see where we're at. Hopefully,
if things don't go right, we might be on here screaming and hollering.
Yeah. Well, we could be. Oh, listen, you can mark your words. I'll be on here screaming and hollering sometimes, right? So you know that. Just tune in. I'll be yelling. My blood pressure will be up. So without a doubt. But again, thanks guys for joining. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.